Hi everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Day's Podcast along with a new video. So this is first of all, thank you guys so much for liking and subscribing and viewing and listening to all of these episodes of videos. I truly appreciate it. Of course, like and subscribe for more exclusive content and content as a whole. There will be more Patreon videos. There's already 2, so check them out if anything. So today we are going to be talking about Janet Jackson's Unbreakable. I was asked to do this video, so it's good that I actually do this video so we can actually reel back to kind of talk about the albums between All For You and Unbreakable and their sequences, because those albums matter. I'm noticing like people don't talk about Demita Joe to Discipline. Those albums matter. So we will talk about them as well. And I'm also going to talk about her first 2 albums, which are Dream Street, along with the first one being self-titled, the original self-titled, which is Janet Jackson. So I'll be talking about all those albums as we go on. So let's talk about it. So Unbreakable is the 11th studio album by American singer Janet Jackson. It was released October 2nd, 2015. And is the first album released under her independent label Rhythm Nation with BMG rights management through a partnership with the singer. So this is her first independent release. A lot of people now are doing things independently because why not? They want to be able to have an understanding of where their money is and where it's going and how they promote themselves, how they market themselves. They want to have full control. Why not? Who wouldn't want that? And Miss Jackson, I think she deserves it for all of that she's been able to do thus far. The album was recorded between 2013 and 2015. So, in the midst of her having her marriage that she had and was, not really in the spotlight. We was getting content and songs that we didn't think we were going to get. And so Jackson had parted ways with Island Records in 2008 due to dissatisfaction over the company's lack of promotion for her 10th album, Discipline. The singer began recording new material with producer Rodney Jerkins, the following year, but eventually abandoned the project. She became busy with film roles and embarked on a worldwide concert tour, and in 2013 announced her 3rd marriage to Qatari businessman Wasim Aymana. 2 years later, in May 2015, Jackson announced that she would embark on the Unbreakable World Tour and release Unbreakable. And I can remember when the album was releasing, there was promotion, whether it was posters and commercials promoting the album. So it was a big deal. She was back. We haven't seen or heard from her from 2008, 2009, even 2010 to 2011 when she's doing movies, as opposed to coming back completely in 2015. Jackson reunited with songwriting and production duo Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, their last collaboration being on her 9th studio album, 20YO, 2006. So she hasn't worked with like her dream team since her 9th album, which was 20YO, and that's a slept-on album. There's a few bops in there that didn't get promoted enough, of course, or even just they were just slept on. Period. Y'all just slept on them. Additional songwriting and production was provided by Dem Joints, Tommy McClendon, and Thomas Lumpkins. Featured artists include rapper J. Cole and Missy Elliott. Unbreakable's theme reflects various experiences over the course of Jackson's life, including aspects of her childhood and the death of her brother, Michael, in addition to socially conscious messages prevalent in her 1989 Rhythm Nation 1814. Its lead single, No Sleep, became her 40th entry in the Billboard US Hot 100. peaking at number 63, as well as her most successful entry on the U.S. adult R&B charts, topping the chart for 12 non-consecutive weeks. So, despite not being able to like go into like the top 10 like that with No Sleep, even though it may have, in the adult R&B songs chart, she was going number 1. People were just loving like No Sleep when it's just sensual, where's my wine, maybe even smoke a little bit. People was loving No Sleep, still do. The album debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200, becoming Jackson's 7th album to top the chart in the U.S. This made her the 3rd act in history of the chart to have a number 1 album in each of the last 4 decades. It also peaked within the top 40 of the most major music markets. It received mostly positive reviews from music critics, with some commenting that it reflected her maturation. Unbreakable was named by several publications as one of the best albums released in 2015. As of April 2016, the album has sold over 253,000 copies in the US. So, the singles were No Sleep, Unbreakable, which came out right before the album came out, and then there's Damn Baby, which came out May 4th, 2016. So, going by just the sense of when she was releasing Discipline, she departed from the previous label that she worked with. But she suffered the unexpected death of her brother. She later performed a special tribute at the 2009 MTV Video Music Awards. She also ended her 7-year relationship with Jermaine Dupri. See, when things went left that year in 2009, 15 years ago, Janet was like, I need to finish whatever projects I need to do that are for movies, do them, even put out a compilation album. I need to just release things because my brother is gone. I don't want to have to worry about too much right now. I need to understand where my life is and why this happened. And I can completely understand that, especially with the recording process from 2008 to 2015. Because when you really think about it, that's how long it took. When you're saying to yourself, all right, she, released a greatest hits, which is number 1s in 2009. In the midst of that, she started working on new material but abandoned the project, and that's something we don't normally see Janet do. Usually there's something that going on and it's getting finished, but like I had previously talked about with Michael, he had an understanding of what he wanted for Bad, but he didn't know that Bad would be something of something else that he had said, I'm not fully gonna be done with this yet. And it took more time. Because, Bad was supposed to be history, and we got history later. Because Bad was supposed to be initially like greatest hits with a few new tracks, because there was already anticipation for a new album. So he was gonna do a compilation album with new tracks, then give a new album. But he was like, no, fuck that. I'm giving them a new album. I'll do the greatest hits later. And it made sense to do it later. There was more hits. So here, she's following her brother's footsteps. It's been from 2009 to 1994, about 15 years or so. I had came out with Design of a Decade, but there's more hits since then. So why not? And, although she began, like I said, working on new material, she didn't, continue with it until later. Icon number 1s came out as, her featuring in Why Did I Get Married 2 and For Colored Girls in 2010. And she also released a book as well. And when she embarked in the number one's up close and personal tour, it was to promote, the compilation, her hits. So even similar to what she's doing now with Together Again, there may be some new songs we'll hear. But one thing she is true to is touring, and I appreciate her touring. Yes, so recording, it took some time. And when it came to, the different types of sounds and beats, Unbreakable is divided into two sides. The first side is composed mostly by dance, pop, and R&B songs, while the second one is mostly more experimental. Yeah, and that's what I felt like. After a certain amount of tracks, it gets more experimental. There's different sounds, there's different octaves that she's getting into, and it's good to hear. The album opens up with the title track Unbreakable, a mid-tempo R&B song which describes Jackson's unyielding devotion to her fans. The following track, Burn It Up, is an up-tempo song with electronic beats, with processed vocal samples and house drums. And Damn Baby, the third track, has hints of trap bass and percussion in bits of previous single, I Get Lonely, and its breakdown. In the fourth song, The Great Forever, she is reportedly to sound like her late brother Michael Jackson and addresses the curiosity about her romantic life. There's instances where she's paying homage, and the even down to Broken Hearts Heal, with a breezy vocal harmonies and a tribute to her brother Michael, reminiscing about a childhood full of singing and laughing together. Like she really gave us, this is very timeless if you ask me, because so on April 22nd, 2015, she tweeted, "Letting go doesn't mean you stop," after a fan created a mock missing persons poster of Jackson, which had begun circulating the internet, prompting Jackson to retweet it herself, adding to further speculation of a new album. And May 16th, on her 49th birthday, Jackson announced a new album and world tour and stated, "I promised you would hear it from my lips, and now you will. This year, new music, new world tour, a new movement. I've been listening. Let's keep the conversation going." And it really felt good to have that connection and still have that connection with her, where she's just letting us know, like, when I release and when I do things, you guys will know. It's not going to be in the sense of, oh, someone else is going to, speak for me, and like, I will let you guys know myself. Yes, she promoted the album through social media, frequently using the hashtag Conversations in a Cafe, as well as taglines, "I've been listening," and "Let's keep the conversation going." To further promote the album, Jackson embarked on the Unbreakable tour in August 2015. Pre-sale tickets were made available exclusively to American Express and Citibank card holders prior to general admission tickets going on sale on June 22nd, 2015. Jackson's forthcoming album was also made available for pre-order, along with vinyl copies of the album's lead single, No Sleep. On September 19th, Jackson was set to perform at the iHeart Radio Music Festival at the MGM Grand Garden Arena. However, on September 18th, her rep confirmed she had withdrawn from the festival. Due to Jackson's pregnancy, the Unbreakable tour resulted in postponement until September 2017, rebranded the State of the World tour with a new set list and costumes. And so I went to that tour and I enjoyed that tour. I actually went in Philly and I had a great time, and it was the first tour I gotta say I've ever been to. I never really went to tours like that. So I got to see The Weeknd, I got to see Beyonce, but Janet, that was my first real tour I've ever been to. And I got to see her twice, not just November 2017, but just last year, May 2023. So experiencing both tours, um, they're unique and they're different in their own way, and she wanted to be with her fans, as she should. And yeah, the critical performance as far as for the tour itself debuted at #1, like I said, charting in the week ending October 8th, 2015. It sold 116,000 copies in its first week, which included streaming and individual digital song sales. Of that sum, the album sold 109,000 in pure sales. This became Jackson's 7th #1 album in that chart, and also made her, like I said, the third act to do so, with 4 different decades behind her. Yeah, it debuted at #1 in the U.S. Independent Albums chart. But the track listing, there are 17 songs, including the bonus track with J. Cole, with there being a remix, even though he's already on track 9. Then there's the Target HMV and Australian edition, which is Promise of You, Love You for Life. Those are 2 songs that I may have not heard yet, so I'm gonna check those out. But those are the 2 extra bonus tracks that were released through Target into different countries that, may have not been really here, or may have been here, but I just didn't listen. But the track listing is Unbreakable, Burn It Up, which is featuring Missy Elliott, Damn Baby, The Great Forever, Shoulda Known Better. Shoulda Known Better. I remember that. The Great Forever, great song. Damn Baby, great song. Burn It Up, it's a great song too. And Unbreakable, it's a great way to bring us in, because I like this, similar to the Velvet Rope, where it's either like the Velvet Rope was track 2, but even Twisted Elegance going into the Velvet Rope, for me, kind of pieces in with Velvet Rope. So I be feeling like, these 2 albums are kind of one and the same, where it just jumps right into the single, which is fine, because it's the title track. This is what we talking about. After You Fall, Broken Hearts Heal, Night is a good song. Broken Hearts Heal is a good song. After You Fall is a good song. No Sleep featuring J. Cole, that's track 9. Track 10 is Dream Maker, Euphoria. That was a slept song. You guys slept on that song, I'm sorry. No, you guys could have played that a little bit more. Half of these songs, y'all could have played a little bit more. Because she really came in the midst of the streaming era, really starting to pop off. So now it's like, okay, no, we can listen to all these albums that she got going on and stream. We can buy too, but y'all can listen now. There ain't no excuse. To Be Loved, great song. Take Me Away has a special place in my heart, as this woman does, oddly. But yeah, Take Me Away, great song. A few of these songs you can just be in the car and just be out and just be enjoying life and just going wherever you want to go, and this is one of them. Take Me Away. It definitely gives, like, even though the song itself is 4 minutes, for me, it'd be a song I could play at least 3 times a day if I'm traveling, like, because it's just one of those traveling songs that, like, all right, we out. And just in general, I'd play this song. Promise. The Promise of You. Yeah, see, y'all kind of just, that was an interlude, but still. Lessons Learned. Black Eagle. Well Traveled. See, I'm recently seeing people promoting Well Traveled when they are finding themselves in places they don't usually be at, and it's like, oh, now y'all want to play Well Traveled, because Well Traveled should have been played regardless. When you're on a really long shift at work, you can play Well Traveled too. because you're going back and forth there, getting them 8+ hours in weekly. Even if you get paid bi-weekly, it hits. Okay. And then Gonna Be Alright, which is, yeah, a great ending to the album where it's like, we gonna be alright. We gonna figure it out. And yeah, great album. I hate the fact that it didn't get enough love in such a time, because yeah, I know going into 2016, music was at its like one of its weirdest times, I would say, because there was people releasing by the spring of 2016, by the fall of 2016, even early 2016. Like, everybody was releasing so much in 2016 that, it was almost like, we got to stamp our albums now because we're in the streaming era. We got to make sure that when years to come, when, yes, billions of streams are all of a sudden just calculated, they were on it. They were on it. But as far as with Miss Jackson, before we're getting, views from Drake and Lemonade and from Beyonce and Auntie from Rihanna, do you need me to keep going? Who else was releasing in 2016? Before we got all that, we had got Unbreakable. And Janet literally dived into the streaming era with a new album independently, okay? So y'all need to respect Mother and listen to this damn album, okay? Not damn album, but y'all need to listen to this great album. But yes, yes, album was #1, independent, Billboard top R&B and hip hop, #1. In the UK, it hit 11. Independent, it was #2. And all across the country, it was in the 20s and 30s. Because, like I said, she dived right in independently, so promotion and other countries were kind of like, okay, this is an album from Janet. It's not, Canadian albums, it went #1. So it's just like, when it comes to overseas, which is, what she's been doing recently, like, making sure her overseas fans know that, I am really back. It's been a while. And the thing is with overseas, that I'm realizing with just artists as a whole, if you're not out like overseas, like checking on your fans overseas like that, they won't stream you. And and I'm not saying they won't stream you, but they won't like stream you. And so yeah, there's people who do all types of stuff for clout and controversy, but that touring bag, when you're saying to yourself, oh no, I'm in Japan, or I'm in Australia, or I'm in the UK, or I'm in, Amsterdam, or just whatever the case may be. Like, if you're overseas, like, it matters to them that you make it to them, because they help the streams just as much as the US. And so if you're coming from the US and, you're Miss Jackson, yeah, I need to make sure I'm everywhere, because that's usually what I be doing, okay? And if I gotta do it my own way, like I had when I started Control, so be it. She never stopped. And that's why I love her for that. So yes, guys, that's the end of our video and episode. I will be back with more, and I hope you enjoyed it.